Hello, everybody. Hello, Philadelphia. Welcome back once again to episode 5 of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. As always, my name is Ryan Conway, and I'm joined here by my wartime consigliere, Sam Glavin. And we got Seamus G sitting across the way producing the show for us. A lot of goings on in the world of Philly sports, as per usual. Philly's right now in an interesting spot. I was at the game on Thursday night. Bryce Harper, the big walk-off home run, grand slam. I mean, that was incredible, but the first 8 innings of baseball made me want to leave.
Yeah, I turned it off in the 6th inning, Conway.
I wouldn't blame you. If there wasn't a Diplo concert after the game, I wouldn't have stayed until the 9th inning to see that grand slam.
Well, I think that's probably what most people's agenda was.
Yeah, honestly.
They've been so hot and cold as of late. Like they just haven't had the consistency that everybody's hoped for, which is, I mean, we've been saying that all year long. Mm-hmm. But now that they've brought in Charlie Manuel, everybody kind of expected them to start winning out of nowhere, and they did.
They won like 4 games straight. That's like the 5th time they've done that.
Yeah.
They're being consistent. They're not consistently good.
Yeah, consistently bad.
They're being consistently unable to string together wins, and I just don't get it anymore.
No,
the game, great moment. Bryce Harper, I mean, he's batting incredible in clutch moments with runners in scoring position, and that's not lost on me. It's incredibly important what he brings to the table for this baseball team. I mean, especially when you see how bad we've been all season. But the Phillies, they kill me, man. They really do.
Oh, yeah, they kill everybody.
There's a reason we're so reluctant to talk about the Phillies and why we've been putting them more towards the top. It's because we want to get the grievances out of the way.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. We just got to kind of get through the Phillies, and then we can hop right into the Birds and Sixers and stuff. So, I mean, that's the Phillies' own fault.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's pretty much entirely on them.
But we do have to talk about how great Bryce Harper has been.
We do.
He has been absolutely electric.
He has, dude. I mean, you take a look at his numbers. You take a look at the effort he brings out on the field every night. That carries weight here in Philly. Yeah, no question.
Not only is he hitting .375 with runners in scoring position,
insane,
which is absurd, but he loves being in Philly. He loves it. He is going to raise his kid here, and he's going to be here for 13 more years, and he loves every second of it, which is what we need in a star player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you see a star player come to Philly, and the city, of course, is going to we're going to wrap our arms around them if they do us, or if they do right by us, because we're going to show them love, but they got to give a little love back, and Bryce Harper's doing that on the field right now, regardless of how well the Phillies are actually producing. Because, I mean, you saw him run around the bases. I was in the building. The place erupted. It was an incredible moment. It was probably the best ending to a baseball game I've ever seen. Normally when I go see the Phillies play, they lose. Yeah. That's just been a consistent trend for me my entire life.
Well, they had
tend to be very good.
The call of the game from John Kruk and T-Mac. That was awesome.
I love those guys.
Krucky could not have been more excited. He was, like, I'm pretty sure he almost fell out of his chair.
Oh my God.
It was great. It was really cool.
Did you see? Was it the night before or 2 nights before? I think it was the first game of the series. I was watching the game. With Seamus G, and they brought Kruk a tray of ribs, like a full tray. Swear to God, it was about like 2 racks of ribs, and he's silent for like 2 to 3 innings straight because he's just housing ribs, and they cut back to him. He's got like a little bit of barbecue sauce on the corners of his mouth. It was one of the greatest moments. Like, if you watch every Phillies game, because there's so many games, there's so much opportunity for things to just go a little weird, and watching John Kruk house 2 racks of ribs on local television is something I never thought I'd see, but it's something I thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, not only they bring up food to the booth for T-Mac and Krucky a lot, but T-Mac has been hanging out, I think, with Krucky a little too much. T-Mac's been put on some weight.
Dude, T-Mac, that's true, man. That powder blue polo was looking really tight on T-Mac.
He's put on some weight being in the booth with Krucky and getting all the food from the ballpark.
Dude, it's the ribs, 2 racks of ribs.
I didn't even know they had ribs at the ballpark.
Like, where do they get ribs?
It had to be from like the box seat.
And Kruk didn't share. They put it down directly in front of him. I didn't see a napkin.
Why would there be?
Well, because Sam, those are some saucy ribs, man. I got a good look of them, under the lights in the booth. Like, I could see there was some thick sauce on there. That guy's around some nice machinery. He's got a headset. He's got to operate, and you can't operate with barbecue sauce over your fingers.
Yeah, I mean,
how does that make your job easier?
You can't wipe it on your shirt either because they cut to the booth, and then it's like he's gonna look like trash.
You're looking like a saucy mess, John.
Well, I feel like if there was gonna be a guy that could get away with it, it would be Crucky.
Here's the thing: if they cut to the booth and John Kruk is smeared head to toe with barbecue sauce, I'd be like, another day in Philly.
Yeah,
like, go Birds! Like,
go Birds! It's been. I love the dynamic between Crucky and T-Mac because Crucky will bring in the stories from when he was playing with the Phillies, and then T-Mac is just sitting there. He's like, "Wow, that's great."
Yeah.
Only T-Mac could get away with that. I love the dynamic, and you know what else I want to talk about? I want to talk to you about bringing J-Roll into the booth.
Okay, yeah. You talked about this early on.
Yeah, early on in the season, I was telling you how I loved J-Roll being in the booth, and I think we should take out that Malvern Prep grad Ben Davis.
Dude, Ben Davis can go. Ben Davis can go. I don't like Ben Davis.
He's terrible. He was a mediocre player in the MLB, and he should go.
I mean, he doesn't. I don't really feel anything. I didn't know his name until I watched Phillies games. I didn't know his name. I just didn't care to know. I was like, all right, there's that guy, and I was like, oh, Kruk's off.
Yeah. Do you remember Sarge in the booth?
Yeah, dude.
Whatever happened to him?
I have no idea.
I know he was pretty old, but I really like Sarge in the booth with T-Mac.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we should probably get back to talking about actual Phillies baseball.
Oh yeah, I mean, it just helps to distract sometimes. It's a coping mechanism. We have to cope with humor. But Sam, when we are looking at these, these players on the Phillies, is there anybody, despite all this mediocrity and negativity that we've been getting, is there anybody that you got your eye on that's maybe performing a little better than usual right now?
Yeah, I mean, aside from Bryce Harper, I think JT Realmuto is having a quiet hot streak going on right now.
Yeah,
just because Bryce Harper is our star player and he hit like the walk-off grand slam and stuff, but JT Realmuto in his last 20 games has been hitting 375 and like over. He's had a really, really, really great stretch of games there. He's been having great games behind the plate, which has been standard the whole year. He's been fantastic behind the plate. There's no question about that. It was really everybody's been worried about his bat, and right now he's at his season average is back up to 282
already,
which is, I would say, above average for a catcher. I think he's taken off a little bit. He's taken off. Another guy I also thought has been taken off is Roman Quinn.
Yeah, dude. Quinny's been hitting a little bit.
He's been showing not only just hitting, but he's been showing he's got some pop in his bat.
Yeah, man.
He hit a couple dingers in this series.
Crazy.
I think he had a dinger a game against the Padres.
Really?
He was smacking the ball around CBP.
That's unreal. It is a hitter's ballpark.
It is, but that's what's most frustrating about all this stuff is that Citizens Bank is a hitter's ballpark, and they haven't been hitting.
No.
Like, they haven't been hitting dingers.
No, they just haven't. We've been saying it time and time again.
I mean, they have Bryce Harper is back on pace for 32 home runs, and
still not enough.
I would take 32 home runs.
I need more.
Okay.
I need a little more. I've been disappointed.
I wasn't expecting.
He's been turning it on recently.
Yeah.
But we've got plenty of time left that he can improve.
I wasn't expecting him to come out and hit 50 home runs. No. I think 32 is a decent number. I mean, but then again, we're talking about a star player. We don't need him to be decent. We need him to be a star.
Yeah. I mean, we're paying him a lot of money because we know the talent that he has.
Yeah.
And we have expectations for how he's going to produce.
If a rookie from the Mets, Pete Alonso, broke the home run record today for NL rookies.
Why can't a multi-year vet in this league do that?
I have no idea.
Especially with the balls when they're supposedly juiced. It's like,
oh man, the juiced balls.
The things don't add up. All of these things should lean towards the Phillies hitting well, especially at home. And none of those things are clicking. They might be getting a little put together now. I mean, they've got Charlie Manuel in as hitting coach. Do you think that that's had an immediate effect at all? Like, just in terms of the psyche of guys going up to the plate? Or
I think that the old school aspect that Charlie Manuel brings, getting away from analytics, just kind of going up there, getting your pitch, and driving the ball in the gap. That's really helped the Phillies in like the first 3 games. It's tough to tell for an immediate effect, but I think that it's definitely we're trending in the right direction. So I think the Manuel move in firing John Maley was a good move because there had to be a change somewhere, whether it was in hitting or whether it was pitching. There had to be some kind of change, and they clearly said that they weren't going to fire Gabe Kapler, and which is absurd.
which is a shame.
It's a damn shame. They saw finally that they needed a change, so they fired Maley and hired Charlie Manuel. So it does 2 things. It gets the fans back to the stadium, which it was lacking. We talked about that last episode. And it gets hitters into a new mindset. So I think it was a solid move.
Absolutely. I mean, I love Charlie. Who doesn't?
Oh, who doesn't love Charlie?
Dude's an all-timer, total legend.
Well, I'll tell you.
World Series ring in Philadelphia.
I'll tell you who had a little bit of an issue with Charlie Manuel.
Who was that?
It was Gabe Kapler.
Gabe Kapler, yeah,
Gabe
right.
Kapler, when he was working for Fox Sports, called for Charlie Manuel's dismissal in 2013.
No.
And 2 weeks later, he was fired.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think Gabe had something to do with that?
No.
No.
No. Does Gabe have anything to do with anything?
No, dude, Gabe doesn't even know what's going on in his own clubhouse.
No,
he's in a fairy tale world. I don't know what
No.
his whole deal is.
He's so weird, dude.
He's a Brave New World type guy.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either. But the Charlie Manuel stuff I think is good. And a reporter asked Gabe Kapler about it, and Gabe kind of just took a little sidestep, usually like usually he does. So.
Is that Gabe Kapler sidestepping a?
Yeah, it's a real shocker, isn't it?
Pointed question. God, what a guy. What a guy, Gabe.
He's
Keep on keeping on, buddy. Because we know you're not going anywhere, so we might as well get used to you.
Yeah, I just want him gone, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I just want him gone.
Really not much else to say when it comes to Gabe.
Yeah, we just need a bigger change. Like the bringing in Manuel is a good minor change, but there's got to be some management changing.
No question there's work left to be done. I think, what we're saying now is what we've been saying, and I feel like it's what we're going to continue to say until the end of the season and maybe even into next season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you think if the Phillies make the playoffs, then our mindsets will shift a little bit?
Depends on how they get eliminated from the playoffs.
Right. Well, their only bet is the wild card game, so that's a one game series.
If we win that game, we'll be like, hey, that's pretty cool. And if we do well in the next round, that's like something I can live with a little bit. Like, we're not that good.
I would be even satisfied if they just won the wild card game and then won maybe one game in the next series.
I don't need I don't need a ton, but if they just get smacked in the wild card game, if they show no fight, which this team does time and time again.
Yeah.
They put nothing out there on the field at all. That's very possible. Who's to say that you go up against divisional opponents and some of the best teams in the league, and the Phillies just kind of roll over? Who's to say that's not going to happen in a wild card game against who? I don't even know.
The Brewers.
Brewers would smoke us.
Probably, yeah.
Unless, we have Nola, though. That's the thing. Nola is the only thing that gives us a chance.
That's fair.
That's why. That's the thing. I feel like we throw Nola out there, absolutely on full rest.
We throw Nola on the bump, and he gives us
9 innings.
9.
Shutout innings.
I was gonna go with 7, but I'll take 9 innings every day of the week.
Complete game shutout, no hitter, 2 walks.
That's a hot.
Aaron Nola is that
take.
good. Aaron Nola is that good.
He is.
Aaron Nola
There's
is
no
that
doubt
good.
about it.
He could do that. He could easily do that. Not easily, but you know what I mean.
He's been flying under the radar this year just because the Phillies have been awful.
Yeah, and he had a pretty bad rough spot for when everything was going wrong for us in June.
Yeah.
He was not pitching like an ace, and I was starting to be like, why is our ace pitching like a number 3? Why is this happening to us now? Because then Aaron Nola is the one thing that's still untainted.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to this Phillies team. Everything else has a sort of negative slant on it. But Aaron Nola, I don't know anybody that dislikes Aaron Nola. Sure, he doesn't have the fastest arm in all of baseball, but the kid's got stuff.
Oh yeah.
He's an ace for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me
people
wrong.
know that.
Don't get me wrong. He can ramp it up to 95.
Oh, yeah.
every once in a while, but
If he wants to.
his changeup and his curveball are just
His breaking balls are
absurd.
unhittable. I feel bad for the other batters when they go
Oh
against
yeah,
Aaron Nola.
yeah.
It's like that. I don't want to say it's like going up against Kershaw.
I'll go ahead and say it.
I'll go
ahead and say it's like.
he doesn't quite have the acumen that Kershaw has now, but
But the Dodgers were good when Kershaw was like in his prime. So
and is Aaron Nola in his prime
yeah,
right now?
oh absolutely,
He's in his prime.
He finished third in the Cy Young last
I
year.
feel like this could be an extended prime though, based on his skill set.
Yeah,
Because even as he loses velocity, he's got stuff.
He's still got
He's
stuff.
got if he loses placement, that's a whole other situation.
well, that's what he struggled with early in the season. Was his command on his fastball.
Yeah.
And that's why he was getting lit up, because he didn't have the command on his fastball. Because the way pitches work is that if you don't have your fastball, then none of your other stuff is going to work, because everybody's just going to be sitting on your fastball and not even worrying about your other stuff, because you can't get a fastball across the plate. So it's pretty obvious, really. Like, it's not. You have to have the fastball command, and Nola has found it. He's got it back. He's our ace, and I think if we throw him out there, he'll go at least 7. But then the question is the hitting. Like, we just got to hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no two ways about it. We just have to hit. Like, it's not that hard. I mean, it's not. It's hard to hit, but it's not hard to realize that we need to hit.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hitting. I think the Phillies will actually show up for a game. They're gonna kind of just get into the mindset and flip the switch, as baseball players say. Just for one game, go out there and just have an aggressive approach and just tear the cover off the ball, and then Nola will give you 7 innings at least. At least.
Yeah, like, I'm comfortable with that. Like, I mean, I'm all for us making the playoffs. Like, who wouldn't be? Because clearly nobody's going anywhere. So what does it change? It's not like we're going to draft anybody well with a high pick.
Well, with the draft, you have to wait at least like 2.5, 3 years before they get to the show.
It's just not helpful.
It's really not.
It's tough to build through the draft like that. And try and take a team that's close to contending and contend. Unless you've got guys that are ready. We've got like one.
What do you think of Alec Boehm?
I don't know anything about him. He's a minor league player.
He played in the All-Star game for the young kids. You know, he had a double.
I hear he's a stud. Charlie Manuel's been scouting him since he was like 14.
I don't know about that.
No, that's true.
Since he was 14.
14. He said when this guy was in like high school, he's like, this guy's gonna hit 40 homers a year.
14. That's a freshman in high school. Wow.
Yeah. Charlie Manuel has an eye for talent. He's a baseball guy, no question.
Oh yeah.
Old school through and through, and we just need a little bit of that. I'm not saying throw analytics all the way to the side, because there's obvious value in that, but
I love old school hitting.
Oh yeah,
I love old school hitting.
There's stuff that you can't. There's stuff that you can't leave be. All right, so we talked a fair amount of Phillies, and when it comes to the Phillies, we've had a lot of their players in the doghouse. Now, this week, this special doghouse, actually, I believe, is the first one in Wolves of Broad Street history to not contain a player on the Phillies.
Yeah, so this doghouse is brought to you by Wide Plank Floor Supply. Whatever you need, if you're a contractor, check out Wide Plank Floor Supply. Got all the product to go with the hardwood flooring and any kind of wood, wide, short, whatever you need. In the doghouse, for me, I have Andre Dillard.
Andre Dillard, tell me.
I have Andre Dillard. He absolutely blew a block coverage that got Kessler injured. Mm-hmm. It was awful. I wish we could show it to you, but I mean, this is a podcast.
Yeah, there's no visual component to this, unfortunately.
No visual component. So you can
look it up.
It was like he didn't even see the guy, and he was
insane.
right in front of him.
Yeah, because I didn't see the game, and because I went to the Phillies game that Thursday night, so I didn't see the play. You showed it to. I just knew that he got hurt on on a blitz. I didn't know that Andre Dillard literally soft doubled the inside.
Yeah,
defensive
he
end.
went and blocked the guy that was the left guard was blocking.
Yeah,
like why?
Their right end was lined up just outside of that's within his peripheral vision, but I think he was set and he just didn't look.
And even for a rookie, that's bad. He was our first round pick, and if Jason Peters goes down and he's old, and he probably will, he's got to be at the left tackle position guarding Carson Wentz.
Yeah, he's who we're expecting to be put into that situation if and really when Jason Peters needs to take some time off or goes down with an injury. And especially with offensive line talent, first round picks are supposed to more or less be ready to be put in at a starting role or play a good amount. That's the level of talent that, because there's less to have to transfer if you're a really talented offensive lineman from college to the pros than other positions.
Yeah, it's the same. It's really the same stuff. I mean, when you're playing in Division I, like for Alabama, then you're going up against NFL defensive tackles already. So you should be pretty much ready to go after that. I mean, it's the same steps. You don't have to learn any new plays really or anything. You just got to know the coverages and you got to execute. And he did not execute. It was awful. It was really, really bad.
Where did he go to school? Was it Washington State?
I believe so.
Something about these Pac-12 guys, man. I don't trust the Pac-12 when it comes to football.
Yeah, well, we talked about the same thing
at least recently.
We talked about the same thing with the Carson Wentz draft. We talked about Goff versus Wentz, and Goff is a Pac-12 guy, and I was like, I don't really know about the Pac-12. I think I'd rather take my chances on Carson Wentz, who's got 3 championships under his belt for FCS football.
Yeah,
it's good football out there in North Dakota State. Yeah, FCS football is no joke. James Madison, shout out my cousin Jake Glavin, Seamus G's cousin Jake Glavin, plays for James Madison University, looking to get some serious time on the O-line this year.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So we'll be looking out for him. We'll be giving him a bunch of shout outs when he's playing on the show.
Yeah, you have to, family baby.
Yeah, all about the family. Conway, who do you have in your doghouse?
So I've got someone in my doghouse. It's not someone from within the city of Philadelphia, but it is an ESPN staff writer by the name of Kevin Pelton. Kevin is in the doghouse for me, and here's why, Sam. He posted something on Twitter, or on ESPN Plus that I found on Twitter, projecting the win and loss records and the standings for every NBA team. And because it's an ESPN Plus subscription thing, I can't view all of it, but I do have access to the playoffs predictions, and it has the Sixers playing the Heat in the first round of the playoffs. They have the Sixers as a 3 seed with Milwaukee as the 1st seed and Boston Celtics at the 2 seed. What's wrong with this picture?
Everything is wrong with this picture, Conway. Everything.
The Celtics are a better team than the Sixers.
There's no shot. And the Bucks have some serious role players. I mean, they have Eric Bledsoe, Chris Middleton, Ersan Ilyasova, Conway.
Oh my goodness, I miss Ersan, dude.
He was really good.
He's the man.
He was great for the Sixers. And then to finish it off, the Bucks have the Lopez brothers, Robin and Brooke.
They have both of them.
Yeah, they have both.
Both of them.
Yeah,
that's gonna be annoying.
Well, I mean,
they're both good.
Yeah, they're both
solid. Both essentially the same player, but you can always use a Robin Lopez.
But the thing is, they don't have a star other than Giannis.
No.
So I can't give them the 1 seed.
I mean, they've got Chris Middleton, but what is he a star in this league? Chris Middleton?
No.
I think he's a damn good player.
Yeah, he is.
But I don't think he's same level as Giannis or Ben or Joel. I don't think he's.
No way.
That's
no way.
Good.
No, I would put the Sixers at the 1 seed.
You would give the Sixers the 1?
I would give the Sixers the 1 seed.
I think it's possible. I want to see how this just how we mesh together. Because I know we have a full off season before we had a season of a lot of these guys playing together, but getting Al Horford involved is going to be interesting. But I'm talking here about Kevin Pelton because of what he used to craft this prediction. Or this projection. It's every NBA team's win-loss record using real plus minus.
Conway, I don't even know what that is.
What the hell is that? And it's ESPN Plus, and I'm not going to pay So they're not going to explain it to a plebe for free. I got to fork over some shekels, but like, and I don't want to. So I don't know what that stat is, but just I feel like this means nothing. I feel like there's no context. I feel like it's just taking a bunch of numbers and putting them together and being like, look what it did. It's really like, oh, isn't it cool that the numbers did this? And it's like, oh yeah, it's cool that you were able to use the numbers to make something like that, but how inaccurate it is atrocious. I mean, it has the Golden State Warriors as a 6 seed.
Yeah, even the West is just completely screwed up.
Houston Rockets is the NBA's best team.
No, there's no way.
Best record in the regular season. Westbrook and Harden. 2 great talents. Gonna be an interesting fit, chemistry-wise.
Then they put the Nuggets at 2.
The Nuggets are really good.
No, I don't know about that,
Dude,
Conway.
the Nuggets are really good. I think the Clippers should be better than the Nuggets.
Yeah,
I really think the Clippers should be the best team in the West.
That's what I said.
Am
That's
I
what I'm
giving
saying.
Kawhi too much credit? No, I can't be.
No, well, you forget that Paul George got signed with the Clippers too. It's going to
Yeah.
be Kawhi and Paul running the show.
And Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, and Pat Bev.
Doc Rivers.
That's
a team,
That's
dude.
a team. I would put them at the 1 seed.
You
and
put
then,
them at the 1?
Yeah, and then I would put the Rockets at the 2, and then the Nuggets at the 3.
I see, like, I feel like the Rockets could, like,
Rockets.
if it goes how I think it's going to go, I feel like it could be like a 4 or 5 seed.
They just signed Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but like, what is that? It doesn't matter. But Kevin Pelton, you need to reassess your priorities and your understanding of the game of basketball because it just drives me crazy. All right, got to move on from the doghouse now because this guy's gotten on my nerves. I want to give a thank you to our friends at Wide Plank Floor Supply. They got all the woods, all the tools, everything you need. Get a nice wide plank hardwood floor put down.
Yeah, big thank you to White Plank Floor Supply. Call into the shop, get a quote, and then you can get a contractor recommended. That's a system that Wide Plank Floor Supply does. When you buy your wood floor, then you get a contractor recommended to you by the experts.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's a really nice service they got going on over there. Continuing talking about the Sixers, though, the fact that the Sixers are being put in as a 3rd seed, it just doesn't sit right with me, and especially behind the Celtics, because I really want to look at the Celtics and assess what it is they've got, because I don't see how anybody could put them that high, seating above the Sixers or not, even in the top 4 teams in the East right now. I just don't see what they've got.
So they got Jason Tatum. So Jason Tatum, he's a good player, right? Wouldn't you say he's a good player? And then we took away Al Horford from them, and they got rid of Kyrie. I don't really see who else. They have Jaylen Brown. I can't see them in the top 3 seed.
They have like Kemba Walker and like Enes Kanter.
I don't know that Kemba Walker's going to work very well with them.
I just don't think a ball dominant volume shooter like that has a place in a space and pace league. Like, I just feel like the way his style of play, like, he's really good, but I personally just don't see how he's going to help elevate the Celtics team.
No, it's a
above what they already are.
completely different dynamic. I mean, he was in Charlotte, and he was their star player, and he had the ball whenever he wanted, and he shot it whenever he wanted. That's going to change when he goes to the Celtics because they're a more team oriented kind of squad, and
They actually have a real head coach.
yeah, I mean, he's a very good head coach.
Yeah, no question.
We'll have to give him that.
Pa.
Yeah, well, Brett Brown, Conway.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about coaches, what do you think he's going to do with this brand new roster?
What do I think he's going to do with it?
Yeah.
I think he's going to frustrate teams with his defense. I feel like he's going to be able to utilize these guys in a number of different defensive schemes and just like even relying on them to just like make good defensive plays that he's not calling because, they're professionals. They know how to play basketball. Like, I think Brett Brown has a great opportunity to leverage this into the best defense in the NBA and possibly towards a title. So,
I
that's what I'm seeing.
I couldn't have said that any better. This is his year to show that he is a top tier coach. Mm-hmm. This is the year because he's got all the players that he needs to do well in the East. This is all I'm looking for right now is doing well in the East. We'll worry about going into the playoffs in the West when we get there. But I think that with the team that the front office has put together for Brett Brown to coach, I think this could be his year to shine.
Absolutely. I mean, people have been unhappy with Brett Brown. There's no question about that. He's been here 6 years now. It's almost 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting, like we're hearing promise of a good team, and now he's finally got he's got all-stars. He's got studs on a team now for really the first time. With this abundance of talent, if Brett Brown fails to make it past, I know you're talking about worrying about the playoffs later. If Brett Brown fails to make it even to the conference finals, I'm going to be a little upset with him. Because he has now been given all the requisite tools to make a run at a conference finals appearance and even possibly win it and go to the finals.
Well, I was even upset last year when they brought in some more key players. They brought in Jimmy Butler. They brought in Tobias Harris. They really just didn't do well enough for me because they made it to the same spot that they did the year before when they didn't have those guys. So I kind of look at that as, Brett Brown, come on. Figure it out, bud.
Yeah,
figure it out.
There are definitely some extenuating circumstances with Embiid being sick. Like you can't put that on Brett.
That's true.
You can't put it on Brett, but like just stuff like that. It's like why? Why did that have to happen to the Sixers? Like we had a totally promising season. Like we were flying high. We were playing best basketball I've seen in Philadelphia in like over a decade, no question. And really, easily the best basketball we've seen in Philadelphia in over a decade. Like it's not even a competition. I don't even know why I think that would be up for debate. But if he's able to figure these guys out offensively as well, because the defense is going to speak for itself. Like Brett Brown's got the coaching ability to make that happen, and these guys have the talent to also make that happen.
The defense will take a tremendous amount of pressure off of the offense, I think, just because Brett Brown's not going to have to make as many moves on offense as he would because they didn't have the defense last year, if you get what I'm saying. They needed to score way more points last year than they do this year, I think, and that takes some pressure off of play calling of Brett Brown, and I think that the defense is really what's going to be what shines for the Sixers this year.
Absolutely. I mean, so you say you have the Sixers as the number 1 seed. You're predicting us to win the 1 seed.
Yes.
Bucks at 2, and then who do you have at 3? Is there anybody that stands out, or do you think it will be Boston or somebody else?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I think Boston has a good shot at it, but I think the rest of the East has so many more questions. I mean, we don't really know a bunch of these teams' identities yet. We don't really know. I won't be able to tell you until they get on the court.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about the end of the NBA regular season in the middle of August, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, summer's slow, man.
Summer is slow for sure. I mean, we got the Phillies, but you know how we feel about the Phillies. Love talking Sixers, but they're just not giving up. You're just not getting a ton right now. We're in the thick of the off season, but stuff like this stupid stat-based, no thought whatsoever prediction. Like I like the conversation that, stuff like this drives because, we talk about the validity of analytics. We're talking about, are the Celtics really a 2 seed in this Eastern Conference? Because I feel like the Eastern Conference has gotten better.
Yeah,
I look at Brooklyn with Kyrie and KD's coming in, like the East is improving, and the Celtics didn't improve, in my opinion.
No,
I think they got, I don't know if they got worse, but I think they did get worse, right? I think they got worse because they had Al Horford and Kyrie, and they had Terry Rozier as a backup point guard. Now, Terry Rozier is in Charlotte, right?
Yes.
And Kemba's come to Boston, and Enes Kanter is trying to fill the role of Big Al. Those aren't really even close to the same player. So I don't know where they're getting these stats from. It doesn't really make a lick of sense to me. I'm not a huge numbers guy, and I don't tend to ever be that, but stuff like this, it interests me at least.
Numbers, I think, have more of a place in basketball than they do in baseball.
Really?
Like we talk about, yeah, I think so. I think that a good stat to look at in basketball for a player is the high percentage shots, like where he's making most of his shots. It's tough to do that with baseball. Baseball is, I think, much harder to break down numbers with than I think basketball.
I think that's fair. I was originally going to disagree with you, but now I see what you're saying, and I'm with you on that, because with basketball you can see where they shoot well from on the floor. You can see they have the whole clutch stat. They've got player efficiency rating as well, which I really like. I don't really know what the numbers go into it, but basketball, because it's not so much dictating moves as it is informing them well. Baseball, especially when we look at teams like the Phillies with an analytics-heavy approach. I know I always do this. I know I always bring it back to the Phillies, but it's something we have to talk about. When you look at an analytics-driven team like the Phillies, like there's no room for nuance left in the game.
No
Anymore, and it's basketball is less prone to that, I think, because I feel like like you can shoot threes and go for layups, but like that you can play basketball well and still do that.
Yeah,
because that is fundamental good basketball. Like you shoot threes because you'll get 3 points instead of 2, and layups are easy to make because you're close to the basket. The fading out of the mid-range game in the NBA is like some old timers like that's a bit of a bummer, but that's for the best in terms of the product, I think, personally, as well as just like seeing teams get better results.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the hot and cold spots like we were talking about before of players. I mean, it helps defenses when they look at that. They're making sure that they are doing everything they can to get their players out of their hot spots. I think numbers have definitely helped basketball.
Certainly, yeah. And while numbers have been a force for good in basketball, Fingerprints Filthy has been a force for good when it comes to the Wolves of Broad Street podcast, supporting what it is we're doing here on the program. They are bringing us still our newest segment on the show, OTA, Outlandish Takes Anonymous, my personal favorite segment on the show. Sam?
Yeah, this is a great segment. We get some interaction with the fans.
Yeah, a lot of DMs, tons of them.
Yeah, I mean, let's get
really
right into
tough
it.
to sift through all the DMs that we got. Honestly, guys,
Yeah.
I really appreciate the the effort from the listeners. I know it's early doors with the podcast, but getting that kind of response really lets us know that you're listening and you're involved. So still keep submitting them. DM us on Instagram or Twitter, Wolves of Broad Street. So you'll be entered to win a Wolves of Broad Street sweatshirt as well. I know we talked about it on the last episode, but they're pretty sweet. Just saw a mock-up of them today. So keep sending them in, and you might be able to win a pretty steezy sweatshirt. So, Sam, why don't you kick off OTAs?
Let's get right into it. Our first one is Gabe Kapler doesn't care about the Phillies because he doesn't button his shirt.
That's 100% correct. That's 100% correct. I see him on the screen. When I was at the game, I saw him on the Jumbotron. The dude's got all of his buttons unbuttoned. I'm like, dude, we're not in Venice Beach, Cali anymore, bro. We're in the major leagues. Button it up. Show some respect for the logo. It looks ridiculous. It looks like he's playing for like Nike or Under Armour or whatever undershirt he's got on. I see more of that than I do the actual logo on the jersey.
Yeah, I mean, like he's not going to a college frat party.
No, dude. Like, I don't need to see some cheeky chest hair. I need you to manage a baseball team. I don't need you out here trying to look like, I don't know, Baywatch. Like, that's just simply not what I requested.
It's got to be a West Coast thing.
It has to be a West Coast thing. But while this take, it's a little out there in terms of the fact that, it's a weird thing to be concerned about. It's 100% correct, and I think it's an example of a deeper problem in the organization when it comes to Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Give us the next one, Conway.
So this next one could be a little controversial. Pittsburgh is not a rival city when it comes to sports.
I will agree with that, but I will at the same time I'm going to disagree because we got the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know we don't talk about the Flyers in the show, but
I still hate the Penguins.
Oh yeah,
I hate Sidney Crosby.
Oh man, no one grinds my gears more than
go pound
Sidney
sand.
Crosby. Yeah, he's
Crybaby Crosby, man.
Yeah, he's awful. I mean,
Sid the Kid.
This is about as much hockey we're going to be talking on the podcast.
I mean, it is an iconic rivalry in sports. I will say that. Flyers, Penguins. Granted, while the Penguins often get the better of us because it's a better run organization.
You forget that on the game that they played at the Link, that was when everybody was mic'd up.
Oh, that was incredible.
That was awesome.
That's one of our personal favorite moments here at the show.
We're constantly quoting that.
Oh, yeah. Travis Konechny. He's my favorite Flyer solely because of that video.
Oh, my gosh.
I couldn't give you a single stat.
No, but he's an absolute comedy show.
But outside of the Flyers and the Penguins, I don't really think about, when I see, Steelers, Eagles, I think, the Steelers are good. Let's go beat them. I don't think, we got to go beat our cross-state rival. They're 6 hours away.
Yeah.
DC and New York are 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of get why there's not so much I feel a disdain for Pittsburgh because it's Western PA and what the hell goes on out there, I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
But I don't. They don't bother us. We don't bother them. I think it's fine.
No, it's the same thing with the Pirates and the Phillies. Like, nobody
yeah.
really cares. Like, they're just playing.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's it. I'll go ahead and give us the next one here. We are more like Washington sports than we'd like to admit.
What is that?
That is awful. Whoever sent that one in, I know this is anonymous. That is an absolutely terrible take.
I mean, we know who sent it in, but we won't tell anybody.
No, it is terrible. I was down last summer for a Washington Nationals game, and I didn't get a good vibe. The stadium was meh.
No, yeah.
And the fans were just not into it.
No, why would they be?
But you know why? It's because people who live in D.C. are not from D.C.
No, of course not. No, they're from all over the country.
Yeah, and it's whoever is in Philadelphia, you have deep roots in Philadelphia, and that's what makes Philly sports so much better than any other team, really.
Yeah. Especially what you're talking about, like New York, Washington. Like, we are a better fan base, clearly. Like, I feel like, especially when it comes to Washington, because they're just a miserable bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, Eagles fans can be miserables every once in a while. There's no question. But, like, I don't know. There's a little more passion in it. We're not just sad for the sake of being sad. We're sad because we expect more. The Washington Redskins and their fan base are just like, oh, we're just gonna roll over. We're sad about it. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah,
and it's sad. Honestly, it's sad to see that.
Their last championship was in, I think, 2017 with the Capitals.
Yeah,
and like that's hockey. Like we don't talk about hockey right here.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Kind of like hockey, I really don't. I know a bunch of people that are like really into hockey, but I just can't get into it.
Is it a violation for me to like Alexander Ovechkin? I feel like it is.
No, he's kind of like the Mike Trout of hockey. Like he's really good.
Yeah, like he's really good. It was just so funny when he won the Stanley Cup. All his antics, like just being
it was his first one.
Just a drunk Russian guy, just like totally being himself. I'm like,
for as good a player he was, that was his first one, and he's towards the end of his career.
I know it's crazy. But I was happy to see him win a cup. I'm glad it happened at a time when the Flyers weren't competitive.
So, the Flyers are whatever, dude. Like, give us the next one, Conway.
All right, so this one is muy caliente. Josh McCown is the most important player on this Eagles team. What?
I kind of get where they're going with this because I kind of get it because the backup quarterback position is so crucial, especially with Carson Wentz and his previous seasons that he's been injured. The backup quarterback position is definitely something that needs to be talked about, but I don't think that's the most important player on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Most important player on the team is the starting quarterback, Carson Wentz. No question about it.
Yeah. For those of you who are listening that don't know about this or haven't heard about it, the Eagles signed Josh McCown, career backup. I think this will be his 17th year in the league. He came out of retirement to come be your backup quarterback. So definitely a great choice. I think it was a good signing, but I don't know. I wouldn't exactly give him the mantle of most important player on the roster because we still do have Carson Wentz. We still have these great linemen. We still have Fletcher Cox and Timmy Jernigan. Like, we've got talent all over the place. Like, Josh McCown is a backup that can come in and win you a couple games.
Yeah.
He's done it before. So, yeah, we're just going to have to see. But I don't really agree with the last two. The last two teams. Those are certainly outlandish.
They were very outlandish, which is what we want. We like a little disagreement on the show.
Yeah. Always good to have a little bit of controversy on the program, a little bit of, back and forth, tete-a-tete, the like. All right, folks, that's going to do it for Outlandish Takes Anonymous, also known as OTAs. Brought to you once again by Fingerprints Filthy. Make sure to submit your outlandish takes to us on Instagram and Twitter. See if we can't get you set up with a nice Fingerprints Filthy X Wolves of Broad Street collab hoodie. They're pretty sweet. I've seen a mock-up. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it looks
pretty
great.
Excited about it.
I think
might throw a picture up on the gram once we get everything sorted out. But stay tuned for that. Sam, we were talking about the Eagles. We were talking about Josh McCown. Josh McCown was brought in to be a Philadelphia Eagle because of yet another injury to our backup quarterback course. Sam, what's going on?
It's one person's fault, and he was already in our doghouse earlier in the show. Andre Dillard just completely blew the block and injured our next backup quarterback. We lost Sudfeld a couple weeks or last week, and it was, I mean, people were all up in arms. Oh, we got to go get Sam Bradford. Oh, we got to go get Colin Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. And then Kessler was, I mean, for the 1-2 plays that he had, I mean, he looked okay.
He looked fine.
Yeah, he looked all right.
He was playing football for sure. Like, go out there, he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, and then he went down because the rookie couldn't figure it out. But
that was awful, dude. That play was god-awful. I'm glad I didn't see it live. I'm glad I had a little something to distract me from that, because when you showed it to me, I was furious. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, you're fully aware of the situation. You know the situation on the team you were drafted to. You got to get it together. I know you're a rookie, but you're a first overall pick. You're getting paid a pretty penny to come in and play for the Eagles. I need to see a little bit more awareness, and I need to see a little bit more maturity out of this guy. And I hopefully by the end of the preseason, he gets that sorted out. We still got 2 games left, but we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, the Eagles are for sure trying to shore up that left tackle position. They just brought in the guy from Army, Brett Toth. They signed him. He got permission from the United States Army to come play for the Philadelphia Eagles and push back his stint in the Army. And he's the 3rd listed guy on the depth chart.
Yeah, dude, he's breathing down his neck a little bit.
If Jason Peters goes down, then he's the backup for Dillard. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's clearly they see something in him that is just different. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, congratulations to the kid for getting the waiver signed. Mm-hmm. That's huge because, it's not always a sure thing. No. So being able to get that release and come play for the Birds, it's a pretty sweet opportunity.
Absolutely.
And once I saw we signed him, I looked some tape up on him because I don't find myself watching a ton of Army football. Mm-hmm. But I know they got good talent on the offensive and defensive line. So I checked them out. I'm like, all right. I see you, Howie.
Yeah,
like,
he was there, but I am an Army football fan.
Gotcha.
And family connections,
yes.
Family connections and all that. But I did notice him like when he was on the line, and I was like, man, this kid can play.
Absolutely.
Like, he's good. I mean, I didn't know if he was going to get drafted. I sure did not think he was going to get drafted, but it's a great pickup by the Eagles, just shoring up that left tackle position.
Yeah, I mean, Howie Roseman does a great job of building his teams from the inside out. So get the quarterback, get your offensive line, get your defensive line, and then worry about the rest of it. Like, our defensive line right now, we haven't really given them a ton of love on the show, and I'm feeling a little bit of regret about that, because when you look at the names of the guys, we got Barnett, we got Malik Jackson, the free agent acquisition from Jacksonville. That guy's a beast. And then he's teamed up with Fletcher Cox. The 2 of them, a defensive tackle together, that's a nightmare for any offensive front, right?
Well, and you're forgetting Brandon Graham.
Dude, yeah, and then Brandon Graham, it's insane the amount of talent that we have on this defensive line. Like, Howie has clearly got a knack for getting these guys together and kind of getting them to buy into the idea of this, like, especially what Jim Schwartz likes to do, which is the one thing of his that I appreciate, actually, is him getting good rotation for our guys on the defensive line, keeping everybody fresh.
Yeah, you look at the guys that are backing up being the role players for the starting defensive line. We got Vinny Curry, Tim Jernigan, and then Josh Sweat. We saw some great things from him in the preseason. And then they actually just brought back this guy, Aziz Shitu, out of Stanford. He was with the Eagles when they won a Super Bowl, and he was the Rose Bowl MVP at Stanford. And I actually had the opportunity to play some Thanksgiving football with him. He showed up to our Glavin Thanksgiving football game, and he was playing some football with us. So that was really cool.
Sweet. Yeah.
And then a couple months later, I see him on the bus with a ring coming down Broad Street.
That's crazy, man.
How cool is that?
That's real cool. Yeah, man. The Birds are. I know I keep saying this, but the Birds are looking to be legit. We've got some guys. Some young guys as well on this defensive line looking to make a name for themselves, because we're going to carry a bunch of them to get that good rotation. Deshaun Hall out of Houston is a defensive end. In the first preseason game, looked phenomenal. I didn't get to talk about him in the last episode, but the dude was showing me something. And this isn't a guy that I was hearing a ton about before camp. So this guy is coming in and fighting for his spot and clearly turning heads and impressing coaches.
Yeah, his first preseason game was great. I think he had one, maybe 2 sacks. Granted, he's playing against the Titans like fourth stringers, but he's showing out his opportunity. So maybe we get him in a couple games. Give him some time to develop, and he could potentially be a good player.
Mm-hmm. That's what's really nice about this Eagles roster is the depth that they have at defensive line. Really allows them to take on like a couple young guys that aren't proven stars, like Fletcher Cox and Tim Jernigan and Malik Jackson. Like those guys they're a shoo-in to make the team. They're gonna tear it up, no question. Like that's what we expect from them. But we have room for a couple of guys like Deshaun Hall and Josh Sweat and Trayvon Hester. These guys that are not as well known, not as established in this league. We have an ability to kind of bring them in and give them extended looks in small roles because we have so much talent. Like we can't afford to take a flyer on a couple of guys, and if it doesn't work out, then we can move on. But it's worth taking a look at some of these guys that were lower draft picks and less highly rated going into the season.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to bring the Phillies back up, but it's the Phillies. What the issue with the Phillies is they don't develop the young guys out of the farm system, and that's exactly the opposite of what the Braves did. They brought up their whole team is homegrown. You know what I mean? So it's good to see that the Eagles are keeping around these young guys and hopefully develop them. And then if they don't work out, they don't work out. It's not a huge loss.
Exactly.
So it's really good to see the Eagles are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what we've got going on, building this team, getting ready for the season, I'm really excited to see what we can do. I know I keep saying that, but it's really where I'm at. Like I still have this anticipation. Football isn't all the way back for me yet because we're not seeing anyone of any consequence really play in these preseason games. I hate the preseason. I hate preseason so much.
I hate preseason.
I just want it to be week 1. I can't wait. My the whole day is clear. The day after is clear. I'm taking a couple of days to truly enjoy the first day of real NFL football.
Oh, I could not be more excited for day 1 of football against the Redskins. It's almost here, Conway. It's almost here. We just have to get through this last 2 games of preseason.
Yeah.
And preseason just drags.
It really does.
Drags on for forever, but it adds to the anticipation for game 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I could not be more excited.
Yeah, I'm looking at putting together a sort of support group for Eagles fans at my school because there's so few of us. I feel like getting to know each other, maybe an ice cream social, get together. Watch the games, build a camaraderie at a school of mainly TB12 fanatics and soy boy whatevers. Like I just try to connect, with these Philly people because I hear about these Eagles fans. I never meet them. I know one other person that's an Eagles fan. I hear about other people, but I never met them. So I've got to find a way to bring us all together. Get through the cold, harsh Maine winters together, as a team. I would really appreciate that. So I'm gonna. I'll keep it posted on the program. See if we can't get a little enclave going on up there.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple guys on my baseball team that are diehard Philly fans. So every time Eagles are on, we shut ourselves away from the rest of the world, from the rest of campus.
Absolutely.
And we watch the game.
Go Birds, baby.
Yeah, have a little soda. Watch the game and
nice soft drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do the 2-liter bottles or do you do the cans?
No, we do the 2-liter bottles.
2-liter bottle,
some red Solo cups.
Warm?
No.
All right, good. I just wanted to make sure. You never know. Could be, working with a psychopath. Just always good to double check.
Yeah, all right. Why don't you pump the brakes there, bud?
All right. Let's see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But so we talked about the Birds. We talked about your affinity for a nice soft drink during the Birds game. Moving on to the Philly Five, the hallmark segment of this program. I love it. You love it. We all love it. So, Sam, what's our Philly Five today?
So, for our Philly Five today, we have our top 5 favorite lunch meats.
Very key in a city like Philadelphia. Got to get a good deli. Got to have good lunch meats at the deli.
Oh yeah,
gotta have it. Like staple of my life.
A good hoagie, Just.
Oh yeah. I knew nothing about the meat, man. I know the bread. Bread is, of course, the most important part of the sandwich.
Yeah,
because
bread,
what else would it be other than a pile of meat? Mm-hmm. So, what do you got for your top 5 lunch meats?
All right. So, at my number 1 spot, I have roast beef. Number 2, I got turkey. Number 3, I have Black Forest ham. Number 4, I'm gonna go a little with your heritage, the Italian prosciutto, and then I'll finish it off with some pepperoni.
That's a very nice. That's a pretty solid Philly 5 you got there. Those are
Yeah,
five.
it's
good.
It's good. It's nothing exotic really. Just good quality meats.
Absolutely. I mean, there's not much more you can ask for.
No,
Yeah?
no. Hit us with yours, Kyle.
All right, so this was tough for me because asking a proud paisan like myself to pick a favorite lunch meat is like asking me to pick a favorite child. So these are in no particular order. Got to open up with the gabagool. Come in with the roast beef. Got to get some prosciutto. You know I love the prosciutto. Honey baked ham is actually a classic.
Yeah,
That's just a classic. I was debating whether or not I put it on the list, but put the American and Italian American. Move on from that.
Yeah.
And then I got the supersat. Perfect ingredients for any good sandwich. Any good sandwich is going to have at least one of them on there.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of chopped up your Italianness with some American stuff in there. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. We've been here a while, so I've assimilated to a degree.
Okay, yeah,
absolutely.
I know what you're saying. But to go along with lunch meats, what do you like? What do you like on your sandwich with your favorite meat?
So I always go with a classic Italian hoagie. Gotta do it. Gotta have the bread from either Amoroso's or Liscio's. Best bread, hands down. And then I really like the gabagool, prosciutto, maybe some supersat, whatever you put on that beautiful Italian hoagie. I don't like when they put the actual ham. I think that's a Metagon move. When you put the actual ham on the hoagie, I think you got to go straight all Italian lunch meats on that. And I like lettuce, tomato, onion, a little bit of oil. And then there's one place that I go. It's the best hoagie I've had in the world. They give me these nice smoked long hot peppers. Just slowly roasted. Perfect. It adds a completely new dimension to the sandwich. It's not too spicy, but it adds a little kick and a little flavor. I can go on all day about this sandwich. This sandwich blows my mind. I literally had it for lunch today.
Oh, that's great. I'm pretty traditional. I like the lettuce, tomatoes, a little bit of onions, pickles, sweet peppers, and some mayo. Yeah, and also a little bit of salt, pepper, and oregano. That's standard though.
It's a little SPO.
Yeah, a little SPO.
SPO can't go wrong.
No, it can't go. You can't go wrong with any of these things that we just mentioned.
And you can't go wrong with listening to the Wolves of Broad Street podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. As always, I've been Ryan Conway. This has been Sam Glavin. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Google+, and send us your outlandish takes, comments, concerns, questions for us to answer on the program. Really anything goes, so hit us up and let us know.
Yeah, big thank you to our sponsors, Y Plank Floor Supply and Fingerprints Filthy. Be sure to check those guys out. Seamus G, close it down.